Wow, I feel for you. And all of you sharing your experiences. I was cheated on after a 10-year relationship that ended August 2023. I went from living in a beautiful home to a one-bedroom apartment and was still in a healing stage when this new girl entered my life and I read her completely incorrectly. Shortly after we started dating, she was getting herself caught in lies that she couldn't keep straight and just kept digging deeper into them. I was madly in love with her already at that point, and she seemed sincere that she loved me too. Eventually, I started catching her red-handed messaging inappropriate sexual messages between her and another man. She ended up having dozens and dozens of active Snapchat messages with guys. And maybe 5 to 6 with other girls. Red flags early on. But I still had faith and trust that she was capable of changing behavior and kept in the game. I'll jump ahead about 4 months of mostly good memories, some negative, to when I was informed she was sleeping with another guy and that she had been all year. And what do? Keep her around. She never paid any rent or covered any bills, and I never did anything to cause her to do this. And that's fine, but you would think she would learn or show some respect and gratefulness. So I believe the things she does next are a reflection in my quick decisions to not run away and say goodbye. Because lo and behold, I catch her weeks later in the act of a group sex session, which I immediately separated myself from because I might have done something unsavory. With one of my old friends, who instantly showed to be a soulless shell of a human, and a new friend and his wife. The very same day when she found out I knew what she did, she knew she fucked up and ended up snapping on me like I was the suspect and not the victim. She realized at this point that I would probably forgive her and keep her around even with this disgusting behavior. Long story short, she still had her apartment key and entered aggressively, grabbing the first thing she could, which was a large sauce pot. She got me 2 times, which ended up being 6 stitches above my left eye and fractured skull on right. I didn't press charges because she is trying to cope and get help with built-up childhood trauma and trauma from a recent traumatic head injury. I didn't want to alter her chances of success basically. And I still loved her. That day after the doctor, I was in contact with her mother and sister, who were admitting she was sleeping with at least 3 to 4 different men throughout the relationship. They also said she is a monster and I'm way too good to her. Wow, was I a fool. Apparently, from what a little bird told me, I hear some of these guys were not very respectful to her at times and possibly did some degrading things to her during the sex. I try not to feel bad because she was safe and taken care of just fine, and her sex was always getting better and evolving. She decided to repeatedly relive these actions, lying to me all the way through the holidays. She broke my heart over and over, worse than my ex of 10 years. I believe it was due to her utter lack of respect and her ability to make herself appear as the victim. We parted ways, and it was a peaceful split. It's not easy for me to blame her completely because she was recently diagnosed with BPD and has a few other medical issues to keep up with. So I feel for her and her struggles. She was so supportive to me otherwise and was a joy to spend my days with. I will miss her so much and never take our good memories for granted. Lesson learned, we should have split months ago. But love is a tough emotion to 86. To top it all off, I just learned she also was pretending to be single in these random online chat rooms and also had an OnlyFans the entire time we were dating. 95% of my peers told me from day one that I deserve better and I need to look out for my own happiness. I'm coming here for genuine advice on whether or not I should tell a woman she is being cheated on. My personality tells me to leave it alone and not get involved in drama, but I also just hate knowing that this guy is out there cheating on his girl, who seems like a genuinely lovely person. Backstory, I met a guy on Tinder, we hit it off immediately. He made me feel awesome, was so charming and easy to talk to, and the things he said to me made me feel seen. Things like I've never gotten along with someone so quickly, which I was feeling also, and telling me I was wholly wow-level beautiful and calming my insecurities and such. He had told me he hadn't been with someone in 2 years because he was focusing on his career, and he told me he's not into one-nighters and just wants one person to come home to and such. We lived in different places and discussed whether we could make dating work with only seeing each other on weekends, etc. We talked about being excited to spend time together, with him specifying that we would do so again and again. At one point he told me that if we sleep together, I will be stuck with him. Yes, in hindsight this was a red flag, lol. He really manipulated me into believing he was a good dude who was very interested in something real with me with the things he was saying. He invited me to his home and told me address, etc. We made plans and talked about what we would do, both sexual and non-sexual in nature. I am very confident that all of this was real plans and not just a guy exercising some fantasy through chat. To be clear, we did not actually meet up, thankfully, because last night, after he fell asleep while we were talking, I decided to look him up on Facebook. Yes, he was dumb enough to give me his real name, just more reasons why he seemed super genuine. His profile picture, and all recent profile pictures, featured him and a woman who, based on comments, was obviously a significant other. His page was semi-locked down, but obviously not as much as he needed it to be. It wasn't hard to figure out who she was. Her profile picture was also of them, and her profile showed they're engaged. They'd been together like 6 years and engaged for 4. They just went on a huge trip end of November, and she had tons of happy pictures posted. My sad sack heart immediately hoped they had recently broken up, but even then, the 2 years thing since he had been with someone was a lie, so I knew he was shitty. And TBH, it was pretty clear based on her posts that it's not over between them. She is beautiful and seems like a really nice person. I know he and I never actually hooked up, but the conversation and photos etc. were definitely already past the level of cheating. Plus, with how easy it was for him to lie and manipulate, I guarantee he has done this before, successfully. I think she was back home for the holidays, and he thought he could easily hook up with me and then ghost me and whatever, or make me fall for him fully and start something up. Not that that part matters, but that's just my theory. I immediately took screenshots of his profile and our conversations to protect myself. I confronted him and told him that I knew and how shitty he was, and we stopped talking and he deleted me, of course, so the SS was a good idea, haha. But now I just can't shake the feeling that this isn't okay. And not in a revenge way. Thankfully I hadn't invested so much time and energy that I'm super angry for myself, more so annoyed and mad at myself for buying it. But this girl just doesn't seem like she deserves it. That said, it also seems like they have a super nice life together, and I don't want to be the person that brings it all down. I don't want to get involved in drama and have any of my private life or conversations spilled out there. I can see so much bad that could come out of this, and I'm very heavily leaning to doing nothing, but then I think of her and wonder, is this okay of me? Am I a bad person if I don't say anything? Or am I a bad person if I do? Or is it none of my business anyways, and maybe you all think I definitely shouldn't say anything, even if I did want to? Ick. I'd love some advice. I was cheated on and I found out myself, and it was the absolute FKN worst, but at least I was able to move on after. But I don't even know how I'd go about it or anything. I'm just really conflicted on what is the right thing to do here.